welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by the world champion, Mr. Sam LaRue, the human terror. Give it up for Octane. We got Mr. Parasite, another world champ, an icon to the Call of Duty scene. Give it up for Parasite. We got the Slayer, the multi-world champion, and of course, we got the one and only, the executive producer, Mr. Benji That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. How you guys doing, man? What's going on, man? How you guys feeling?
Holy shit, the price is right, dude. The Patrick price is right.
Yeah, is this a game show or what?
The
dude?
Patrick price is right, dude.
It's the most low-budget game show with that.
Oh my god.
Come on, was it that bad?
What is Bocage Hardpoint?
It's a one-and-done stunt, Tom.
What is sub-base hard point is I think where the combo is going to be going today. I think that's what's going on. What's going on, guys? How you guys been? Slayer, how's work and everything going? How you doing, bro?
Good. Work's going good. The holidays around the corner, and game dev world things tend to slow down a little bit around the holidays because people are off. But other than that, man, it's good.
Hell yeah, bro. Pat, did I check you with my intro today or no?
Nah, but somebody has an echo. Do you hear that? That's what's checking me right now.
Nah, I don't hear no echo.
I don't hear no echo.
There's a lot of code through you, Tom. But
Oh, so maybe my bad. I'm just probably talking too loud. But yo, Pat or Parasite, how you doing, man? How you doing, Chris?
Great. Grind the game, and right now just doing camo grinding, grinding. That's just what I do. I've been watching a little bit of Pro 8s, been watching some scrims. I saw you watching those earlier, so just getting a feel for this new wonderful game we have this year.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. I mean, Sam, you've been grinding the game. You've been playing Woogs and pubs. Are you camo grinding right now? Is anybody in here grinding for camos?
Yeah, I'm doing it too, bro. I keep getting interrupted by these 8s and these wagers, man.
8s are fun, bro. 8s are a lot of fun.
They are fun. Nah, they're really fun.
I've had self-control lately. I haven't participated in them.
Dude, I keep every time I get a good session, like 2 hours, and then Tom's in my chat. Yo, wagers, Asim, wagers, yo.
Every day,
8s?
bro. Every day, we're dedicated in this team speak, bro. We're dedicated.
I'm over here camping in corners with my shotgun on hardcore, bro. Leave me alone.
I mean, Ben, even you have been hopping into the wagers and into the 8s, bro. And you've been doing your thing, Ben. You've been doing your how you feeling, bro? I feel like this game you've actually been playing it.
I'm undefeated in wagers. I don't think we didn't lose yesterday.
We didn't lose, Ben. We haven't lost yet.
I'm gonna need a chow out of Ben if he's undefeated.
Ah, shit.
Nah, Ben will smoke you, Chris. Dead ass.
I mean, I've been enjoying playing the game. You know, we've been on every day. I get on in the morning, play some pubs. Maybe get a Woog session. We've been watching scrims. People are still streaming scrims, at least this week. And been having a really fun time. Honestly, for me, it's just grinding. Next week's just weird and kind of disjointed with the holidays. So I'm just trying to get as much stuff in.
Yeah.
This week as I can.
Yeah, the holidays are always like just that time of the year, bro. I just feel like he's so busy. My brother's getting married as well, December 1st. So we're getting ready for the wedding, and we've been getting. The weddings are a lot of work, man. A lot of work over our weddings. Yeah, Ben, you are a little bit quiet. If you want to up your mic,
is it better now?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it is a little bit better. But yeah, bro, it's the holidays is definitely a busy time of the year. But I love the holidays, man. I love the spirit for sure. But let's get into it today. We haven't really regrouped since the game dropped. So this is a great time to just talk about the map set, the gunplay, the spawns, the GAs. We could go through everything, give our thoughts and give our opinions, and then also some rosters that we got to talk about. I actually say we start with the LAG roster. I say we just start with that. And obviously that's kind of like the most recent news that hit the timeline. LAG, a little bit of drama with LAG. Obviously, I would say maybe the way that they handled things maybe wasn't the right way to go about it. I don't know, maybe some miscommunication there. So for those of you that don't know, apparently the team was supposed to be Asim, Gunless, Kremp, and DiamondCon, correct? Well, listen, from what we've seen, from rumors and stuff, that's what we thought. The rumor on the block, that's what we thought.
I don't think there was ever like a... So here's the deal. Now, can I give you the full timeline?
Yeah.
And then we can go from there?
Uh-huh.
All right. So as far as I understand somewhat the version of the truth to be. So LAG basically squad wiped their team over the summer, right? They basically did pick up the option, I think, on
Squad wiped the org.
The org obviously got squad wiped like way before the beginning of the end of the season, last season. And then they extended a few players. But Tom, I think I'm just quiet on your end. My mic volume hasn't changed at all.
Really?
So
that's weird because everybody else is loud, you know. But I'll up you in TeamSpeak. But you're good.
You might be not up to TeamSpeak. Anyway,
All right, I got you.
So squad wiped the team over the summer. They extended a few players, and then they released them, or they got bought out, or whatever. They're starting from fresh. And to Pat's point, like there was nobody at the org. There was one person left. And so, from my understanding, a number of players more than 2. Basically, I've been hitting up the org since, let's say, like early August of like, yo, what's going on? I'm interested in joining, interested in building a team, bringing a championship, blah, 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 blah. These are all like one-on-one conversations. I don't think anyone's like coming in like, here's my squad of 4 and my coach and my analyst. Like, pick us up, let's go. It's more like individual players hitting up the org. And then from there, it seems like LG is like kind of giving status updates, but how Pat, how it goes. Like they're stalling time. And they've kind of gotten to the end of the clock here. And basically, from my understanding, is they're starting to let people know, like as of last weekend, of hey, like we're finally going to bring on a coach. And the coach is going to have the responsibility to build a team. They probably told us from my understanding, like a couple of different squads. Obviously, the ASIM squad that you mentioned was one of the teams that they seem to have talked to. It's the rotation apparently tweeted out over the weekend that they were going to be the LAG squad, but as far as I know, like that wasn't confirmed at the time. And then they picked up the coach a couple of days ago. Coach decided on a roster, piecing together options from a couple different teams, and that is how we end up with the situation that we're in right now.
Yeah, and rumor on the block, we got Diamond Con, Fame, Estrio, and Assault. Now, me personally, obviously there's been some controversy, right? Enable getting canceled on Reddit. A lot of people were attacking him for saying that these guys are ass. But to be honest with you, I can't really say they're ass because I don't know much about Estrio. So I don't know. Like, Chris, I feel like you might. I saw your tweet. I was going to kind of let you have this because I don't know much about him. So it's hard for me to give my honest opinion on him.
Nubs in chat, dude. Fight for your life. Fight for his life on the timeline.
Yeah, the Nubs in the chat, man. But yeah, bro, obviously yesterday was a little bit of an emotional day because, some of the guys got blindsided and, it was just a lot of drama that was going on. Talk to me a little bit about Estrio. Who is he? How long has he been in Challengers? Is he a good player in your eyes? I mean, what do you think about him?
At first, he was kind of just a S&D grinder. Some people might know, but he was a big Black Ops 4 grinder. Him and his duo Flames, who was on originally the Challengers team that ended up forming from this roster. They grinded BO4. I actually played like a Hitch throwback tournament with them, which we ended up winning. And like they were gross BO4 players, like towards the off season when nobody played, right? And then they ended up getting into competitive. They started, their journey throughout, what was their first game playing competitively serious? I think I want to say it was Vanguard. Anyways, they start to make a name for themselves it was Cold War, Vanguard. And then eventually Modern Warfare 2 comes out. They start getting way better opportunities. And long story short, they end up, I think, getting 3rd at champs for challengers, Flames and Estrio, who were together at the point. So Estrio, he's a really good sub player, at least in the challenger world. And I guess this is going to be his debut, but that's pretty much the long story short.
Yeah, I mean, I guess how this roster came together is they hired a coach, right, before they signed anybody on the roster. And I think they just gave the coach all the power to kind of just sign the players. The coach that they did hire was Vios. He's another one that I just don't know much about. Apparently, he coached the LAG Academy team, Chris. Is that true?
Yeah, and I think he also coached... I want to say he coached that like Mohawk team that won Challenger champs in Vanguard. He's had a history of coaching multiple Challengers rosters. The first time I heard of him was in Cold War, where he was coaching like Mach and Hollow. If you guys are pretty familiar with those guys, and then he kind of he has experience, so he's not just coming out of nowhere. He's been in Challengers for a while, coaching teams, but most notably LAG Academy and that whole circle of players. He's very familiar with basically every single person on this roster and has probably worked with them on various Challenger teams throughout his history coaching. So,
yeah, so I don't really know where the controversy was because Vios went on to explain that he didn't get rid of anybody or drop anybody in quotes or scum anybody. And then I know it was some people from LAG, right, Ben? Like Brenda and some other people were commenting that they didn't say anything to anybody or that they didn't have conversations with anybody. But I think that's kind of where I'm confused because talking to like Big P and ASIM and like some of those guys, to my understanding, they were definitely being communicated with. And
well, ASIM tweeted that he was going to talk. He was talking to them today, right?
Yeah. ASIM tweeted. ASIM actually put out a nice tweet because a lot of people were sending hate videos his way. So I think ASIM just tweeted something out like, "Yo, everybody chill. Nobody attack him or anybody like that. You could give your opinions on the team, but don't attack any of the people. You don't want to be negative or hate on anybody." But yeah, I don't really know where the miscommunication was. I'm going to be honest. To my understanding, I think LAG was just talking to a lot of people before they even signed a coach. And I know there's only one person kind of working things out there. So I don't know if they just made promises to too many people or they just kind of led people on. Maybe they didn't give people a yes, but they led them on and said, hey, maybe you were a top choice. And that we're looking to sign you, you know, kind of just tickling the balls a little bit, you know what I mean? Teasing them.
That's kind of, bro, the last show we did, we were talking about LAG not fielding a roster, and now they have 7 rosters.
Yeah, and now they have a whole bunch of rosters, which, I mean, that's what happens when there's only one team left and everybody's trying to get on that team, right? Like, I'm sure every pro player or like any former pro player or anybody in challengers, I'm sure everybody was hitting up LAG trying to get active on that roster. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's the last roster. Everybody's trying to see who that one person is that's making the decisions. But it ended up being Vios who got that starting coaching spot. And then he ended up picking up some players that he's familiar with. To my understanding, he coached these guys in challengers like Assault, in Fame, and these guys. Chris, that's true, right? I want to make sure I'm not saying things that aren't true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's coached all of them, if not the majority of them. I know for a fact he coached LAG Academy, and if he was still in challengers, he probably would have coached the team Diamond Con was with, which Diamond was with Estriel in challengers. So if he hasn't already coached them, he probably would have.
Okay, yeah. So to my understanding, yeah, he just was familiar with some of these guys, and I don't know, he's feeling pretty confident to put with this team. I mean, I guess I'll just lay it out there on the table. What do you guys think about the roster? What do you think about it? Adam Assault, Fame, Diamond Con, and
Who wants to start?
Huh?
I mean, I'll go first.
Both these rosters sucked. Who cares? But at the end of the day, like, we've talked about this before. It's like I don't know why we can even care about whether it was the ASIM gunless lineup or this new lineup. They're both the same. I think if you know, their ceiling to me is they'll peak early on, similar to how that LAG team did last year. Like if they learn the game and get ahead,
like crazy hardpoint run.
Yeah, they'll be solid in like the first month or so, and then once other teams catch up or all teams catch up, they just don't have the talent. And that's pretty evident. Like we've seen this year after year. This usually happens the exact same way every time. So, for me, I mean, I could name 8 better teams. But could they win some online matches and have a solid placement online going into the first major? Sure.
Would you have picked up the initial roster, Pat, that was rumored? Or did you not like that roster either?
I mean, I think they still could have done better, given who's available. I also have, I mean, I've always thought this, and I saw Brenda's post like on Reddit, and don't get me wrong, I like Brenda. You know, she was there when I was on LAG, and she mentioned it, like she's literally the only person that's even working at this entire organization now. Like they completely cleaned house. She's the last one left. But I've talked about this before in a lot of teams, like this mentality of giving the coach full control and letting them build a roster. Like it goes back to that same stuff that we've talked about, just doesn't work in COD, where like, you know, we compare it to what like people think is like traditional sports where like a coach should have full oversight. Like it's just not the same. Like players run these teams and they always have, and they always will. That's why the best teams have the best, like that's why there's so much talent at the top, because the players make the rosters. When you end up in these situations where like, and I don't have anything wrong with the Vios guy. I'm sure he's a great coach and a great dude, but like kind of can tell like his connections are limited to who he's known, who he's coached before. So like you're kind of just recycling the same thing. Like it's a comfort pick almost. I would even imagine that Brenda, you know, signing Vios as the coach was also a comfort pick. Like he coached the Challengers LAG team. And Brenda, like, I don't know how many connections Brenda has. Like they've had a lot of the same talent in their organization for a long time outside when they brought in Marky B. But like, to me, this just seems like a massive comfort pick at the deadline. Just a very cheap
just
move.
To be able to have a roster,
none of these players are expensive.
Recycled players.
Again, I'm surprised that this organization is even fielding a team. I'm sure they were part of this, you know, the fact that it was going to the deadline. I imagine they were trying to get out of having to even field a roster. And yeah, I mean, either way, no matter what happens, I mean, this is going to be, I doubt they even make any hires this year. It's probably going to be Brenda running the show, and I feel terrible
just like
for her
the
on that
exact same
front.
situation as last year.
Yeah.
That LG
it's
team.
going to be VOs, the players, and Brenda, and that's it. So my expectations are super low. Could they be a dark horse? and maybe upset a little bit in the beginning, sure. But overall, I mean, it's just no matter. Realistically, no matter what they did, they were kind of limited at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to say one thing before you guys give your opinions on the roster. It's hard for me to take this like serious, like when giving my opinion, like every other CDO org when it comes to building a roster. So yeah, like comfort pick this, comfort pick that, blah blah blah. Like we all know the position LAG is in. So when it comes to at least picking up certain players or even their coach, for example, like I don't really blame them for like going, I guess, close to home. But I also think for people that don't know Will Viaz as a coach, I think he definitely deserves a shot. I think a lot of people that are familiar with him and at least pretty much every challenger player that is good respects Will as a coach and would love to have that guy coach them if they had the chance. Obviously, he's a very hot commodity when it comes to like, okay, who do we want to coach our challengers team this year when people are building their rosters? So for people that don't know him, like he definitely knows what he's doing. I also don't think that he was the sole person that had any say, like the whole say in the roster. Diamond Khan is clearly the remaining player on that team.
He was on both
original
teams. He definitely had some insight from
so
what
he definitely had some insight. And if I like knowing these people, they would want to play with each other. Like obviously it's the majority of an entire challenger team, which was Diamond Khan's original challenger team before he got on that rumored team, plus Assault. So clearly these guys at the very least, they want to play together. Like out of everybody left, this is what they all want, probably. So, not bad.
Sam, what do you think, man? What are your thoughts on the roster?
I'm kind of in the same boat as Pat. I wanted to agree with Chris on the Viaz thing. I think like a lot of the challenger talent that's relatively notable kind of all unanimously agrees that Will seems to be a good coach and deserves to have a spot. So I'm not just going to write it off immediately. And Diamond Khan again is the common denominator on both teams, so he clearly had some form of input on the rosters. The one thing I will say though is I don't want to like auto feel bad for the kid, but this is another situation where there's a rookie coming into the league in Estriel, similar to like let's say Yuli last year, where it's just like he's probably fucked. Let's be honest. Like this team has no expectations whatsoever. Like Pat said, the ceiling is relatively low at the beginning of the year. Like he's probably going to do okay unless he is a absolute superstar talent in this league. He's probably just going to get like recycled out strictly because the system is going to be bad. Like the team is on the back foot off rip. And like when you come into the league in your rookie year, having your team in a situation that LAG is in, it like, even if you're a phenomenal player, it just feels so fucking bad as your rookie season.
Difference is here. It's the same thing with like, you could have said the same thing for Joe.
And no, I was literally just about to say other than Joe.
And on top of that, I mean, yeah, obviously that's he might be an anomaly that might not happen again.
I think he's literally the anomaly. Like there's been so many iterations of rookies coming in for their first year into just a absolutely broken clusterfuck of a team and just getting recycled out.
But also the difference here is between like Yuli was joining a team mid-year, like towards the end, that was already broken and fucked. While this team at the very least has a fresh start, and at least he's comfortable with all these players. He's played with them before. He was basically playing with them the whole time.
Yeah.
It's probably a different environment. I'm not going to say he's going to come out the gates and fry everyone. I'm just more so saying I can't really compare it to Yuli's circumstances because he's coming into a fresh team. It's not the same as like.
You know what's funny though?
Yeah.
Like we always, and the league has always had this like feeling that it's the friendship league, right? It's like the first time that a challenger person comes in, gets full control of an org, he picks up basically the people that it's like the comfort picks, like the people he's coached before, his friends, and the roster is full of friends. I feel like you'll just never.
I think that's why some people were angry too. I think that was like a big part of it, just like who exactly he picked up. But I don't know, maybe he sees something in that group of guys. Like I really don't know what his decision making was to feel get in this roster. But I mean, Ben, I see you nodding your head a little bit. What are your thoughts on the LAG roster?
I mean, I don't know what else there is for me to add because I think everybody kind of touched on that. I think like this whole situation has been completely mismanaged from the start. I think the lack of any public messaging for LAG about their strategy this season has not set them up to really let this deadline play like particularly good. And when they made a decision, now they got to live with both sides of it. I think the coach they brought on, obviously a lot of people speak highly of him, but he hasn't been given the runway to like effectively build a team and kind of deal with the lack of expectations. Instead, people are just going to roast the squad. And it led to a situation where it seems like, Diamond Khan kind of sketched on his teammates after he formed the team. So That's not particularly great optics for Diamondcom, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's how it works in the COD scene. I just think it's a tough situation for LG, and I want to go back to what Pat said. I think, look, I like Pierce. I like Asim. I like a lot of these veterans that are out there. Like, we've obviously talked highly on streams about Donnie's team. Like, there are a bunch of really good squads of XCDL players that exist within, challengers this year. But I do think, regardless, because of how weight they've laid to build their roster, between whatever team you choose, it was always going to be difficult for them to build a team that was going to be a top 8 squad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so that leads me, before we move on, Tom, I just wanted to ask you guys one more question, because we all seem to be on a similar page here with the roster. Do you really think there is that many more combinations of players outside of, let's say, these guys or the roster before that could lead them to a better result guaranteed than they're probably set up for? Because I don't think so. So, like, as much as we want to sit here and criticize rosters for making certain decisions, or even not necessarily us, because I think we have a little bit more sense than that, but like people outside of that, like the viewers or the fans, want to criticize some of these rosters. Is there really anyone else that can guarantee better? Like, we don't know.
I mean,
There's no guarantees when you're 8 through 12.
yeah, there's no guarantees, and
Exactly.
I mean, I don't want to sit here and say that there aren't people they could pick up, Chris, because there's a lot of people they could pick up.
But that's the thing. That's more so like, I think, a league spot thing where there should be more options, where it's like there's this last team, and
There's
I feel
a
like
full-blown CDL team in Challengers right now.
there's a
yeah.
ton of people that could be in this league. And I feel like if you get any single combination of them all, they'd probably relatively be in the same ballpark. So
Listen,
may as well give some new guys some chances.
I've been king of, like, when Din used to come on the show and say we need more spots, of like being, kind of chirping him. The situation, the reality we're in is, like, there are other sports that have a way better solution to this. And it's basically a format we used to have, where you have these partnered or pro league teams, and you have a way for open teams to come in and prove their worth. And the problem right now with the system we have is there's
Other
no...
esports, we had that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We used to have it
That is the way.
as well. I said that. Like, but the issue is there's no pro-am this year. Like, last year we had Major 1, and talking about LAG, look what happened to the LAG Academy team last year, bro. Like, some of them
Dude,
ended
Pack.
up on a pro team because of the showcase that they had at Raleigh last year. You just don't have that same opportunity for guys like Donnie's team now, Asim and Pearson, wherever they're going with their direction. It's just tough, man, out here. And I don't think anyone played this situation particularly good on the org side. And I think, unfortunately, everybody's kind of set up to fail here.
Agreed.
Yeah. So that one thing that does really bother me, though, with all these rosters that I haven't really touched on yet, the substitute. They're not picking up subs. Like, none of these rosters are fielding subs. They're just putting their
you don't
coach
want to.
there.
You don't want to do that right away, though.
You don't think so?
Normally the recipe for success in the sub slot is like letting the challengers scene start to develop in the game.
Right,
and
but they
picking up
never
just
do
whoever
that, Sam.
stands out.
It's not
Unless
like a
you're
month in they
undeniable.
end up picking up subs the whole year. I mean, this is how they do it every year. The whole year,
I think it
every
goes both
franchise
ways.
team just
There's a
puts their
couple
coach.
people that do that.
It goes both ways, because look at New York. Like, they picked up Paco as their sub before that season started, and look kind of what it's led to. Like, if you have an undeniable player you want to bring in to be your sub player and develop him, like, go for it, bro, before anyone else snaps him up. To Sam's point, like, if you wait and you're very quick and you could snap that, like, hot SMG player that's going to be absolutely nasty if he gets a chance on a pro team, like, do it.
Yeah.
Take advantage of that. Where teams have messed up in the past.
There's also people that don't want to shell the cash.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
That's
it's
the other
all
piece of it,
cost
too.
saving, bro.
Yeah,
That's
that's all
what-
it
that's
is.
what we
But
had-
there
that's
should be
what we
a
had,
rule. There should be a
That's what we had
rule
to do
there.
last year.
There should be
Yeah,
a
we just
rule that
fucking
you
threw
have
Shane
to
on it.
pick up a substitute. It can't be a coach. Like, you shouldn't be able to just.
Well, that's just forcing to spend the money, though. You know what I mean? Like, it technically is an end around putting the coach on the slot, but like, if they're, I mean, let's be honest, there's teams that can barely afford to put together a 4-man roster. They're not trying to shell out another $50,000 for a sub spot that they're probably not going to use.
Though, just like there's a player contract, make a coach's contract, and they don't apply to the player rules.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like,
Yeah,
laziness and saving the org's
me
money.
personally, bro, I think there should be a substitute fielded on every roster. I think there should be a rule, and
That's
I think
not a coach.
That's not a coach.
I'm not just.
You know, that's just my opinion on it. But
Yeah,
They
I'm not
didn't
disagreeing
address
with
this from the start with this league. I just don't see how the teams, because they all want to save the money, are going to agree to a rule change where they can't put their coach in their sub spot. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because the teams have to basically push through that policy change, and they're not going to do it to hurt themselves.
Not in this state with the CEOs
Yeah,
probably
100%.
in its last like.
yeah.
The one thing before we move on the
ahead,
LG
Pat.
situation that I want to talk on is man, I really did not expect Detective Nub to not stand on business. I really did not expect to see him absolutely fold on the timeline.
Streets
That
were
was
saying he didn't
something
turn his
that I
stream on
just-
yesterday because he would have got cooked.
That was just something that I did not expect to see today.
You think so? You think
that
that
really
no
surprised
folding?
me? That really surprised me, Tom.
Nah.
That's actually hilarious. That's
Nub
comedy.
stood 4 fingers down, bro. Can't believe
The
it.
nub came out hot, bro.
fingers.
He said I stood. Ian said I stood on that shit with my nub. That's what he said. Yeah, Ian's comedy. But yeah, before we move on, the next time we'll talk about rosters will be on the 20th. We're gonna be doing a tier list episode on the 20th, and we're also gonna be spinning the wheel because we have a $75,000 tournament. It is all CDL pros. We got all 12 teams to participate. We're gonna put one wheel all ARs, another wheel all subs. We're gonna match the duos, so AR duels, sub duels on each wheel. We're gonna spin the wheel and combine the duels together, and it's gonna be all CDL players. A really highly competitive tournament. We're probably gonna do variants, so it'll be a good time to see like the pros go at it and play like full series at a time.
But do you have the LG roster in there?
Yep, LAG roster's in there. I talked to Diamond
Nice.
Con last night, so he's locked
Yeah.
in and ready to go. So on the 20th, we're going to be doing tier lists and we're going to be spinning the wheel. So that's the next time we're going to be talking about rosters. And then the 21st is when the tournament's going to happen. $75,000 on the line. You already know. You got Dash in the chat saying he's going to be getting active. That's my guy Brucey right there. I'm always excited to watch Big Brucey.
Okay, we'll run him.
Yeah. Wait, Sam, you almost got in there, Sam. Almost.
I almost did.
If there was one team that didn't get in there, I was gonna give Sam a team.
I almost had to. I would have poached some players.
If
Dude.
there's anybody who backs out, Sam, you'll be the first person I hit up, man, and we'll get you in there. But stay
Make the
tuned for
retirement
that.
squad.
That's gonna be really, really fun. I think it'll be a good time
Live
to
from the
just see
FaZe
everybody play.
warehouse too.
Yeah, we'll be
We're
live at the
gonna be live in
warehouse. So it'll be a good time. But let's
Couple of
move
guests coming
on.
through.
Let's talk. Yeah, we could get some guests if anybody wants to pull up. Of course, everybody's always welcome. But
I've lined up a couple. I've lined us up a couple.
oh, nice. Okay, I didn't know
You
that.
know what I mean? I got an executive producer out here.
Holy
We got
shit,
a
That's what
lot.
I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Give it up for
Intro
Benji the
worthy.
Scene, ladies and gentlemen.
Nah.
You kidding me? Are you,
Oh,
can we get a wet in the chat?
Nah, the worst
Also,
thing- the
Ben,
worst thing-
everybody's
Nah, the
saying that you're in the
soundboard's so
flow
good, bro.
state right now on the flank. That's what they're
The
saying.
soundboard is so
the
good.
worst thing we ever did is let Tom get a new
Nah, it's so good.
Broadcaster Pro 2.
I love
bro.
it.
Well, I almost threw
So
up my
chalk.
Go XLR out the window yesterday because it kept freezing. It's been freezing for a month straight, and then eventually I just lost so much composure yesterday. I ran a Guitar Center and got
It's
a
a
new
dead
mix
company,
amp.
so there's not much you can do about it now. So that sucks.
Yeah, but we got the Rodecaster Pro 2. Shout out to Rode. They make good stuff over there. So shout out to them. But let's move on, man. I want to talk about the game a little bit. I want to talk about MW3. There's been a lot going on, man. I feel like now we got a good understanding of what this game's looking like and kind of what we need to tweak, what we don't need to tweak. I'll start off with a positive here first before we get into the negatives because I think there's going to be a lot of negatives.
Shit.
Love the way Search and Destroy plays in this game. I think it's perfect. I actually think
Yeah.
S&D is perfect. I've been having a blast playing wagers, S&D tournaments, all that stuff, man. We've been going hard with that stuff, and I just feel like
Agree.
you just have unlimited dead silence now, and it just play even the maps, the old school maps. I just feel like in S&D they play out great. I would say that probably the negative is everything else. I think
It doesn't surprise me though. They bring back dead silence, and S&D is somehow good again.
it's godlike. It's actually godlike.
They brought it back in
Who
two
would've thought?
forms. There's 2 of them.
Yeah, and then
There's 2 of them.
Respawn, unfortunately, not really the same. So we'll start with Hardpoint first. The spawns are just messed up. They're just all over the place. Just so many parallel spawns
They're
and
bad.
people spawning on top of each other. Now, I will say, I've been scrimming the game the last few days. You do start reading the spawns as you play the game. You start to pick up on where people usually spawn, and you can read the spawns. I do think there's going to be a right and wrong way to play the game, but we can't ignore all the inconsistencies in the spawns and people spawning on top of each other and hardpoint being kind of hectic. Some of these maps too, like the way they're laid out and where some of the hardpoints are, it's a little fugazi. And also, I don't really like how so many hardpoints are like a 3x3 square. Like you'll have this whole building and then you'll have a little square in the corner of the building and that's the hard point. It's like,
Yeah.
it just
Where else you
doesn't
from?
seem right. Like it's just so hard to actually soak time. I've been watching Subbase and people aren't even breaking 160, 170.
Okay.
Like the time is literally
You
just
watched like a
running out.
165, 156 game that Don team played today or something like that?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
like-
165, 145 went to time.
Damn.
There's just
Yep.
no place to like safely sit on the hill. Like every single hill is just an open box with zero cover.
Because they're
So
not
you're
big enough.
just there's like so many angles you can get shot from. So like even if your teammates are like covering everything, you're just in the open.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
The
So
rotations of some of the hills are also like really bad. Like
Mhm.
sub-base P2 to P3, you just walk
Yeah.
like 2 feet next door. Everything else is the same. Like
Yeah.
there's just the logic of some of the rotations definitely is not great. But yeah, the spawns are like unironically some of the worst that we've ever had in
Terminal
COD.
2, when it goes from Burger Town to Book, like that little
one's
little
pretty
switch
bad,
right
too.
there, like that one's pretty
Yeah.
bad too, because the
But-
hard
but
point
that-
barely
That's going to create
moves.
some comebacks. So the one thing I'll say about that rotation, we've already seen it, is that actually will create some people like coming back from a 225, like 180 situation by rotating the Burger and getting Book.
Yeah.
I think the point in question to you guys, as far as parallel spawns go, like that contributes to the chaos because those type of spawns just create sort of this like sort of F1 race to whatever point type mechanism, and it's less of a like orchestrating like long pitches and getting breaks. So I wonder, do you guys think that they may retool the spawn system, or do you think we're just gonna have to?
I mean,
live
they
with-
have to.
Well, they
Parallels.
absolutely need to, or
They
this
have
game
to.
is going to be unwatchable
Yeah,
for
they have
respawn.
to they have to retune it. And Pat, I mean, you're in game developing now. I mean, what's it like remapping the spawns? Is that something that's difficult to do? I could imagine it's probably pretty difficult.
You'd be surprised. I've done a lot of work on our spawns on Next Defiant, and I mean, I think the big disconnect is just whoever the designers are that are working on spawns, knowing what they're like, knowing what to accomplish. I think that's the issue, right? Like, if you don't know what to accomplish, but like we as pro Call of Duty players, like we played forever, we've seen a ton of different variations of spawn systems over the years. Like, if you know what you want to achieve, like you know the type of spawns that you given whatever scenario that you want to have, it's really not that hard to be honest with you. But the big thing is just knowing what type of system you want to achieve, right? And then there's always going to be the conversation of like, well, we know what works for competitive, the more hardcore setup where you can like fully block, you can spawn people out, you can, force people, funnel people, into certain areas of the map. The other thing is, do they want to allow that, right? Like, because, in reality, that's a more competitive version of the game versus kind of like what they have now, which is just like pure chaos. Everyone's spawning kind of everywhere, and the gunplay is it's more random, where like people can't just get trapped and shit on.
Yeah.
And that goes back into a ton of just design decisions in general. So, to answer your question, no, it's not. But the question for me is it on purpose? How, where's the intent?
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? There's not really a system. Like some maps are spawning out deep, and you have to run like 25 seconds just to get to the hard point. And in some maps, everybody just spawns on top of the hard point. It's like everybody's just spawning right there. It's like so close. It's just a bloodbath on the hill. One of them being sub base. Like I feel like sub base you spawn pretty close, and then I feel like on maps like Invasion or like Karachi you spawn a little bit deeper. Would you guys agree with that? Like there's not really a
Karachi, you die
system.
one time on rotation and you're just rotating after that.
Like, I'll see you in
And I'm
45
thinking of
seconds.
just that Palace Hill on Invasion. I mean, that hill has just been full 60 central. Like I haven't seen anybody break that hill yet. At least not in a pro setting.
Outside of the Palace Hill, I don't think the spawns or Invasion are that bad. There are still like in terms of like where the majority of players are spawning, because there's still those outlier spawns where people are spawning right behind each other. But in terms of like where the majority of arrows are, I don't think the spawns on that map are bad. The problem that we get is on the small maps like Sub Base. Sub Base, people might think it's a big map, but you look at it from the mini map, it's basically a square box where every hill is like on a corner. And every single hill on a map like that, even same with Terminal. Terminal is also a very small map in terms of its hill placements. All of them play like Embassy, but like worse because of how many split spawns and these weird spawns they're getting, where, like you said it, Tom, every spawn is in the shape of an L. So like all these teams are racing towards the objective, and you're spawning on a cut where essentially if you just look to your left, you're just getting free kills. And it's just a cutoff central where, I don't know, I just don't like the way it plays. I think they need to reposition the hill spots so that they need to dig them out of the corners of the map. So that way there's some safe space for people to spawn. And on top of that, I don't know what it is, but they got to figure out this whole chaining system with these spawns. We had it at the beginning of MW2 before they fixed the spawns. I don't know if you guys remember it, where one guy spawns here, next guy spawns here. And because that guy spawned there, somebody spawns in Narnia, and it just makes no sense.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. The spawns are definitely wonky. We'll see if they end up fixing any of them. Again, like COD in the past has made updates to spawn. When was the last time we've seen spawn updates? I mean, they did last game. Before last game.
They did multiple last game.
Last game, they actually did a pretty good job. Sam, you would say that they probably made them better last game? Because I know in the past we've had moments where they made them worse. You think they made them worse?
I don't think they improved or got worse. I think they just
Stayed
they
ass.
changed them but stayed the same. As stupid as that sounds, like I don't think they got any significantly better or worse. They just moved to where you spawn.
That's
I
my
think-
biggest worry. Is like, what is it after they do update them? If they do, is it gonna be good? You know, like, are they gonna fix the problems? Because right now, there's some maps where you legit spawn on top of people. Like
Yeah, Invasion P2, you're spawn like you take 2 steps from Palace and they spawn right behind you on the wall.
and even Terminal out in the parking lot, like right outside the plane
if you're
by
on
the ramp.
if you're running up to the plane to get shot in the back.
Yeah, like if you
Dude,
spawn
that's such
Esky,
a
you gotta
checker,
watch
bro.
your parking lot because they're probably spawning there. And if you spawn parking lot, you gotta watch your Esky because they're, you know what I mean?
I'm just concerned with the spawns, at least from a Sledgehammer POV, because I don't think Vanguard spawns got insanely better over the years.
But the World War
over
II
year.
hardpoint spawns were phenomenal. But
The
then,
World War II ones were good.
But that's the begs the question, like how many people are still there from
you want so,
that year?
so I don't know. I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's a recent post how there's going to be Mercado like put back into the game.
Yeah.
Not saying we should use it. I'm actually curious if we went and scrimmed that map, would the spawns be the same?
Oh, that's a great question. Great
Because-
question.
If they somehow are different, then we obviously know they're using a completely different spawn, like I guess algorithm or the way they work, which could be the problem. Because listen, as much as people like to rag on Modern Warfare 2, yes, there was a couple weird spawns. I feel like that spawn system towards the end of the game was pretty much readable on like every single map.
Yeah.
Granted, you might not have agreed where the spawn placements were. It was completely readable. While in this game, there's a lot of bullshit happening on the map.
But I mean, like that doesn't just because they're readable. Like you give me a week,
I
I'll tell you
know.
where people are spawning. Like I'll turn around. I'll take 2 steps on a Invasion P2 and I'll turn around and spawn kill you.
But I don't think on Modern Warfare 2 we had scenarios where a guy would literally spawn here and then a guy right behind him, because I've seen that happen a lot on this game already,
Well,
where they're
well-
like spawning actually on top of each other
Well,
physically.
you had
It's
like
crazy.
you had like Hotel, and when they changed the spawn system, like Hotel P3 initially was like kind of messed up because
One P2,
you give up the back and it keeps spawning behind you, and that helped.
P3's Kitchen Hill. Is that what you're talking about?
There's
P4,
2 back spawns on P4, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, but but
Yeah.
that's a law. That's, I mean, now as I said at the end
Is
of the
that
game.
post
you just-
update, yeah.
yeah,
But I get your point. Like I do think so. Here's the difficulty in all this, right? Like we have our first major cycle qualifiers are going to start on the 9th of December. Like doubt they do a spawn overhaul over the course of the next couple of weeks. For people that are not Americans, next week is Thanksgiving week. These developers are probably not really working much that week. I mean, Pat, I don't know. You're at Ubisoft. Does Ubisoft take up most of that week next week?
We take off a few days, Thanksgiving week and the week after Christmas.
No, that's going to derail that. Obviously, if they need to push updates, it's going to derail any kind of support they get from, Microsoft, Sony, etc. So the likelihood of us getting spawn update before the 9th is unlikely. So major one cycle will probably play on this. If they make any changes, we're talking, we're not going to have pros playing that spawn system until the beginning of February, earliest.
The big reality here is that, even going back to 2010 2010 with these maps, like we only played 4 of these maps in respawns. Granted, we were only playing Demolition and CTF back then. It was Terminal, High Rise, Scrapyard, and Invasion. That was the only respawn maps that we played in Modern Warfare 2. And now we're adding Hardpoint, which is a lot of complexity, right? In terms of game mode, it's not just like 2 sides.
Yeah.
And so, the big thing for me is maps that they're trying to force in, Subbase, Karachi, like these maps didn't work in 2009 for respawn. Like I don't think they're gonna work. Like if the map sucked in 2009, it's gonna suck today.
So
Here's the thing,
JCap
Pat,
said,
is-
yeah.
but
Here's
Yeah.
the thing is Skid Row. Do you guys agree that Skid Row Hardpoint's actually not too bad compared to some other maps? What do you
I
guys
don't think it's too bad. But I just want so Pat has
typical
Pat
map.
obviously played just like I did back in the day. And I want to introduce you to like a problem or maybe a different outlook that some people might not be seeing this towards. Back in the day, granted we didn't have hardpoint. The concept of breaking an objective point, a bomb site, a demolition point, a base in CTF is essentially the same thing as breaking a hill. Back in the day, we had a sub meta that was basically an AR. The UMP, you remember that, Pat? Was fucking amazing. It was literally like a miniature AR. Not only
I wouldn't
that,
say it was an AR.
well,
but
it was really good. It was really good
It was
downrange.
good.
You could
It
still,
was
you
good,
had
yeah.
a chance, right? Not only that, the submachine gun had FMJ on it, so you can actually wall bang people out of like power spots and stuff like that. And the movement speed was insane because we had lightweight and marathon, or just marathon in general, right? Not only that, there was no trophies. We had a nade and 2 stuns on every person's class, or a smoke grenade, because people used smokes back then if they wanted to. Nowadays, oh, we have a nade and a smoke, but we have trophy systems, and at least in the meta currently, yes, the rival is good, but it's not that same type of dynamic of SMG that we had that worked on the games prior. So when it comes to like how hardpoint plays and breaking hills, I don't think it plays particularly well now because we're missing a lot of those aspects from those older games. And I feel like we need to start a conversation here because personally, I think the game would play better in Respawn with at least one smoke grenade on each team. And yes, people say one way, this or that. I think this is probably the weakest smoke grenade we've had in a COD in a long time. And I feel like it would completely change the way the game is played now and make some of these hills that are damn near unbreakable, like that Palace Hill, Tom, way easier to break
you throw
and
smoke
give people a
across
chance.
And, yeah, it's easier.
Because for example, on Palace Hill, right? So let's say you're breaking from like the sort of P2 side of the map. You kill the guys, they spawn out courtyard. You can smoke that cross and get across pretty quickly.
Yeah.
What happens now is those guys spawn courtyard and they still have your cross even though you killed them. Like you still have to slide across. From that side,
How are the one ways with the smoke? So we were talking about this a little bit before. It was hard for me to tell because I definitely got one weight in a wager, but I was also pinging really bad, so I didn't. It could have been like a ping thing. But you guys are kind of saying before that you think that the one ways actually aren't as bad in this game?
I don't think they're.
You could probably you're probably always going to be able to do it, but from me doing it and being one way in this game and wagers and things like that, it doesn't feel nearly as bad as it did in
they also last way less. So
yeah,
the time that you're actually just sitting in a smoke to one way somebody is not really there.
So something that I think doesn't get mentioned enough, and we always compare the pinnacle of spawns in Call of Duty was Black Ops 2. And I don't think the map, not only the map design, but the hill locations don't get brought up enough. Like scrolling through, I looked at the Turtle tweet out like all the maps, hardpoint maps and their hill locations. Like the placement of the hills is a massive issue. Like putting any objectives like bordered along the wall in corners where there's not ever a back spawn, there's not a front spawn. Like when it's just like a sideways race, and which is a majority of how these hills are set up. Invasion's the same way. Literally just scrolling through, they're basically all they have like 3 or 4 hills that are just poorly placed. Which is another thing where this game mode back in the day did not have hardpoints, so they had nothing to go off of. And the maps weren't designed, with these game modes in mind back then. So I think that's one of the biggest issues as well for just how hardpoint's going to play in general is just the objective placements. That to me, I think should be changed first. To be honest.
I agree, and just like the size of some of these hardpoints, like I already said before, like some of them are just so small. Like they definitely have to make some updates to some of this stuff. But have the pros talked about a smoke being used? Has that been something they've talked about?
I brought it up a couple times, and I have yet to see them even entertain it. And I don't.
When you say the word fucking smoke around pro players, fucking PTSD starts to kick in.
Yeah, which makes sense, but for this game, it
Dylan
might.
Envoys is yes vote. I know that.
I don't think
yes vote.
PTSD of Modern Warfare 2019 of Dylan COD running through snipers.
Bro, I guarantee you, as soon as that shit gets pitched, it's just gonna be fucking. The game's just gonna get so random, bro. You're just gonna get a 2-piece in a smoke and break a hill. That's not competitive.
That's the thing, though. They already GA'd the knife, so knife and smoke cheese is already not there. But on top of that, I think the scare comes from most of the time people just throwing a smoke at their feet when they're last alive and trying to finesse on a hill, which I get is annoying. But I feel like, for example, if we went back to MW 2019, I'm not saying it's a good game or anything. If you played that game without a smoke grenade and respawn, do you actually think you would have had a chance at breaking some of these hills? Absolutely fucking not.
Try.
Exactly. And that's kind of where I'm getting at this. I get people are set in their ways and they want to try to play the game with as much of that stuff out of the game. I don't, unless they drastically change the spawns or even the weapon meta. There's a lot of things that contributed to it. You're not getting across the map on certain hills.
I don't think it's either one of those things. I think it's, to Pat's point, it's the location of these hills. Like the fact that on Invasion, I have 2 options: literally running up a street with 17 head glitches in windows to try to break this Palace Hill with 4 ARs because the sub is average at best. The location of these hills is what's warranting this entire conversation. Granted,
or go left and you gotta check courtyard. You gotta check
Not necessarily. There are some hills that are like that, but I still think like even on some of the normal hills that play that way, a smoke would still be beneficial in terms of like how you would execute. Because like I think they're trying to allow it in search. I could be wrong, where it's probably going to be used in search.
It should be allowed in
but
search.
The concept is essentially the same. Breaking a bomb site is the same as breaking a hard point. If you really think about it, sure, the placements might be different, but it's kind of the same. And if you try playing S&D on some of these maps without a smoke grenade, yeah, good luck hitting these bomb sites. It's the same concept. Good luck hitting these hard points.
It adds a level of like what we had in 2019, because I was a trophy player in that game, and like there was a lot of gamesmanship when it, like trophies is just like brain dead, throw it on the hard point and like fucking don't get naded, right? But in that game, there was a lot of like, I have to put this here to prevent like the smoke. At least, I mean, my team was fucking dog shit, but we were still doing that. Like we were throwing trophies in areas that we knew that smokes could potentially be. So like it adds a level of gamesmanship to the trophy system users, as opposed to, again, just like brain off, throw it in the middle of the map and forget about it kind of thing.
Yeah.
If smokes are usable in respawn anyway.
I mean, while we're on the topic too of GAs, I think we can talk about, because there has been a few GAs that have already been mentioned. One of them being the Karambit knife, which I know I don't think it 100% went through. To my understanding, the pros are still voting on the knife. But they're trying to get rid of the knife. I know a lot of people are jumping on the hate train, and they're like, that's whack, and yada, yada, yada. But I guess with the extra health and how some of these hard points are made, people are just running around with their knife out and just popping pieces. I mean, I saw Shotzi have like a 1v3 knife or some shit, just running around low high rise. I mean, what do you guys think about the knife potentially being GA? Do you think that's fugazi? Do you think it's a good play by the pros? I mean, what do you think?
It's a product of how weird some of these hills are. Think of Burger Hill on Terminal. Like you play that in a deep corner, it might be a good strategy for once like your teammates watching across the eye. You whip out that Karambit and start swiping when they come around the corner instead of just like pre-aiming, because they're going to slide on you anyway. Like
especially with the health, right, Ben? Like the 150
I
health.
See the thought process a little bit there. It's kind of unfortunate, but like forcing everybody to have pistol, I guess, kind of makes it better.
Both knives are OP in different ways. I don't know if you know this, but the Karambit, it trades you more movement speed and more like you swipe quicker, I'm pretty sure, but you don't get as much of a lunge. I think the gut knife has like an insane lunge, like not commando, but like
they all have different stats.
Goes.
Yeah, it's weird that all the knives have different stats. It's interesting. We haven't really seen that before in COD, right? We haven't seen that, and not that I can think of.
Well, not the knives, but like as they've added melee weapons in COD, they've added a ton. Some of them are better at certain things. Some of them give you less movement speed, give you a lunge. Some of them kill in two, like melee weapons, not just the knives. So like they're all different.
Are they talking about G'ing? And somebody mentioned the Cali sticks. The Cali sticks is a good shout because the Cali sticks were cheese. But somebody mentioned, is it going to be just the Karambit or every knife? Are they? Like, what are they G'ing?
It has to be both.
It has to be every knife.
Everything,
it's just
right?
gonna be this. Yeah, so they're not like, oh my god, he lunged halfway across the map. Like, no, it's just gonna be every knife. Like you're just still gonna sit in Burger Hill and Terminal with a knife out. If they
even think about adding smokes, which I think would benefit the game.
Yeah, we skipped. That was my point. We skipped this step.
They have to get rid of the knife as well.
We usually play with the smokes and then realize that Draws is running around in the smoke with a knife out and then GA the knife. But we've actually just skipped that step entirely and GA the knife.
Yeah.
So.
And then there's also a few other GAs as well. The Holger has been banned and the FAMAS has been banned. Those are two guns that I think we can all agree that in the beginning of the game, everybody's just running around with those guns.
There's a graphic on Reddit, Tom, for the distance to like the 4-bullet kill for all the ARs, and the Holger is 4 at all ranges compared to the other ARs.
Yeah,
it's like a good like visual.
Yeah, so I already see some people they're mad about that. Somebody said, "Come on, man." Some people are losing composure about that. But I will say the Holger was insane. That gun was cheese.
Let me see if I can find it.
The FAMAS though, was that 3 burst? Was it that good?
Yeah, it's insane.
Okay, I didn't use the burst much.
The DG and the FAMAS are both potential 1 burst. The SVA is actually really good too if you connect the first 2 bullets, but that kind of like leads to an RNG aspect. The MTZ is really good as well. That's the fast one that everyone's running around with.
They made GAs to the MTZ as well, right? Certain attachments, you have to run a red dot on the MTZ. You can't stack your class or something. That's kind of what the argument's going on. What was the time to kill just too high, or what was it?
The time to kill on that gun is significantly faster than the ACR, and if you can hit the shots down range, it kills quicker. It
put it in my stream chat, Sam.
It recoils more. The ACR is probably the most balanced weapon in terms of the ARs. However, the one thing that's bad about it, if you've watched Exclusive Aces video, but I also like noticed it in the beta, is we're not going to get away from this headshot multiplier. At least right now, it's not nerfed. If you hit one headshot, you're killing in one less bullet up close. So there's going to be a lot of like, oh, I got melted because I got headshotted type of stuff. It's so yeah.
Okay, so looking at this graph you sent me, Sam.
That's why the Holger got GA'd.
Yeah. The Holger is insane, dude.
Here's what I don't understand though. Like, we get to a point in the game where everyone runs the same attachments, right? Like, eventually we get to that point.
Yeah.
And in this game, the unique benefit, I think, well, it's not a benefit, it's horrible, but the benefit is that there's like 95 attachments for every gun or more. Hell, there's 95 like foregrips. Why, you know, if the feeling is that the like the FAMAS, for example, is too good, why don't they just mandate like some shitty attachments on it? You know what I mean? Like,
it's too much to like mandate. It's too much to.
Why?
Like,
you get to the point where they run the same class anyway. Like, you know, in 3 months from now, if the MCW is the AR that everyone uses, everyone's going to have the same exact attachments on it.
Potentially, yeah.
So like, why not work to find out a build that people are cool with, that feels like it's not crazy OP? But look, in my opinion, the game needs a burst gun. Like, when's the last time we've had one? Like
BO3.
BO3.
The Itcher got GA'd instantly in World War II.
Yeah, well, the Itcher was insane. I don't know.
Yeah, but they used the Swordfish also got GA'd in BO4 as well.
The problem with the burst guns is they potentially just add another like aspect of randomness. It's like sometimes you can one burst, sometimes you're not going to one burst, and that kind of just throws off the time to kill aspect of the game. Like, that's what makes the burst guns good.
They're the exact same thing.
I know, I know, but more often than not, it wasn't a
FAMAS.
But more often than not, it wasn't a one burst, and on top of that, the aspect of that of the art of it,
we do the same thing with attachments. Like, you can nerf rate of fire, you can nerf damage, you can nerf bullet velocity. There's literally 1,000 attachments. Just find a build that you're okay with.
There's nothing to nerf rate of fire in this game. The only thing they would nerf is that you could do with attachments in this game are your handling speeds, maybe your ammo count, or your bullet velocity and range. But like, nerfing all that stuff defeats the purpose of even using a gun like that. Yeah, it'd be cool to have a burst, I agree, but I think we're past that to a point where if we want to have a burst in the meta, it can't do what it used to do. It's just too good, right? Especially right now, like, I don't even think we should be having a conversation of what we could do to add an AR to the meta when 2 or 3 of them are already good enough to be used. I think we need to talk about the submachine guns. I know, Tom.
Yeah, we were getting there. I got it on the list.
Those.
Yeah, so that's kind of where my next topic was going, was time to kill and looking at all the ARs. Obviously, off the bat, everybody was using ARs. Like, the subs it was looking really slow for subs. People were not using submachine guns, and even the sub players are bringing out ARs, and you still see it now with sub players on some of these maps and some of the lanes that they need to hold. They're whipping out ARs. But there is one subclass that everybody, a few sub players are starting to use now. Well, I would say every sub player is starting to use now, because it is, in my opinion, I think it's a good class. But the Rival 9 is probably the only viable sub right now. Would you guys agree? I saw Abe using the Abizi, using the Uzi, but he put it away today.
So he said it was.
He said it was ass.
Put it away.
That's the only other sub I've seen somebody use, and it was from Abizi, and he didn't even have it out today. So I'm guessing the Rival 9 is the only gun, the only submachine gun that's somewhat viable. But even the Rival 9, I still think the ACR is just, and the MTZ,
bro.
they do it all.
I said this on my stream, and this might be a shit take, but the only reason that sub players are using subs is because they're called the sub players. They should be using 2 MTZs or 3 MTZs and an ACR. Like, the only reason that people are running subs is because they want to run a sub, not because like it's better than running 4 ARs.
Well, I think the situations where you're like in such close corners, if you're tucked in hills and stuff, I think that's where a sub can be good. It's just getting yourself into those situations could be difficult sometimes.
Bro, the amount of times that you spawn up and know that you have a losing gunfight as your first gunfight with a sub
think
is
about it, though.
Yeah.
The maps aren't really built for subs the way they have been in the last few years. Like, the last few years, like, the maps just had so much shit on them that you could just you're in building to building. Like, there's open lanes on this. And I don't know. To me, it's like, I agree the subs may not be like as good, but I think subs have been spoiled the last 4 years.
That's it, Pat. Big AR
4
propaganda,
years?
baby.
No,
That's
no.
it. Big AR propaganda,
What?
Pat.
No,
That's it.
think about it. Think about it.
My boy.
They've had do it all weapons.
You're goddamn right they have. Those sons of bitches.
When we go back to
What?
like,
Back on the big
think
AR
about this.
payroll.
Think
Yeah.
about this, Tom. When we go back to like
Pat's lobbying on
OG
Big
Call of
AR's
Duty
behalf
days,
right here.
No. I'm not even talking about weapon balance. I'm just talking about like the style of play.
Yeah.
When we go back to OG Call of Duty days, some machine gun players weren't squaring up cross map with ARs. Like that's
You guys,
all
if
that
you
I've
squared,
been-
if you
Tommy
squared
did,
on
bro.
raid with an
I don't know,
MSMC, you
Tommy
got
did that.
dropped.
No, bro.
Depends who I was playing against,
If
Pat.
you tried, if you were playing shitters, you could. But like good player versus good player, like you were not squaring up against
Tom was
ARs
still
at
scoring up
range.
against Porter, I know
And
that
I
for a
think,
fact.
and I think because
So I don't
like
know about that.
that's what's happened the last few years. We expect that to always be the case. Like, in my opinion, there really hasn't been weapon balance in COD in a long time because of that aspect. Every gun feels like it does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen subs be subs in a long time.
The last time a sub was a
Movement
sub
speed
was
is so
unironically
similar.
the SOG and BO4 pre-buff.
Wait, so Pat, I mean, I'm just thinking back at like some of these games that we just played, like Vanguard, for instance, like the Automaton was
No, the auto was the best shit.
the
No,
best shit. That
it
shit
was
was
the best shit.
godlike.
But the MP40 could still map you. Like
Yeah, because
that-
Abizi is shooting it.
But
like even back in the day, like dude, you couldn't square up against an AR at range. And if
I bet you if
both
a Tyler
players
had
are
an
the same
MSMC
skill
top
level-
art,
Yeah, I was
he's
about to say,
killing you.
people were squaring up crossing with MSMT. And
And
World
No,
War
they
II.
weren't, bro.
But
they
I
were
think-
they were getting
MW2
They're
pissed
not
Scar
even
was
good.
crazy.
They
The
were
Vaz
doing
was
that,
crazy
squaring
too,
people
but
dots,
Scar
like
was
you
really good
dots.
as well.
I'm not saying the sub should be OP, but I think the game, at least Hardpoint, plays the best when the sub is the best gun in terms of like how like usable it is, because they are the ones
in short to medium range. Yeah,
Yes, but like
MP40
that's the,
did have Bloom too. Did have
but that's the thing though. I think the game plays the best in that aspect when the
I
sub is
literally
better.
watched in 2019 the MP5 killed faster at long range than the M4.
That is correct.
The
Like-
thing, what I'm saying though,
with the
is
5mm though. They
the
got
way-
rid of that.
Hardpoint plays the best when your subs can dictate the pace of how a map is played, and I feel like that is just not the thing right now. It's very AR dominant, and a lot of it is the maps. But call me crazy if you guys played the beta and the way Hardpoint plays now. Do you guys not think that the striker that was in the beta, how it is, would fit in the game with the meta right now?
Yeah, it'd be
Like-
3 of them. That gun was
Like,
unbelievable.
The striker was
Dude,
insane.
that game was
Chris. That might
unbelievable,
be
Chris.
like 3 strikers if we.
That
if
game
we-
was
Okay,
that gun
two-
was
That was a do it all.
unbelievable.
That was like an AR sub. Like that
But
was
the
just a do it all
ACR,
sub.
but the ACR is insane, and the maps cater to how good those ARs are. That like I feel like it would balance it out because of how good the striker was, and like its ability. Because again, these maps are catered to ARs, and I feel like being able to kind of like take those medium range gunfights and stand a chance is a big. It should be or is good for this game. Or
that's the
you got to add a
question.
smoke for people to close the distance.
That's the question, Chris. Like, are they going to, in whatever the next update or update after that is, like, are they going to muddy the waters on the mid range with the subs? Like, are they going to come in and say, okay, we're
Do we
Hang
see
that
the patch
damage
notes
range
today,
buff
by
and
the
see
way?
what happens.
I don't know if anyone looked at them. They buffed the ACR today.
They
hip
buffed
fire
it?
spread, right?
Yeah, like hip fire spread. and
What?
shit. Yeah.
Because that was
They-
also my main complaint with the ACRs, even up close. It's good.
Yeah, they
It's
buffed
really
the hip fire
good.
spread of the ACR today.
But that's because that gun
That's
has
nice.
like relatively low recoil, and you can kind of kit the handling to be like decently quick at range. And it has dog shit sprint to fire, but it's like just normal ADS is pretty good. So as long as you're playing off the hip, you can quick scope people basically.
You can cross map with a rival though. You can shoot that shit at range, bro. If you hit good shots, you gotta hit good shots.
The
but-
class
I
that
mean,
people are
it's- I
using
mean,
it has
it's
no
tough, though.
recoil.
Yeah.
So like
That's
It
for sure,
it
yeah.
is, but the thing is, it feels inconsistent. I'm curious whenever Exclusive Ace does a video on it, which will probably be in a while. How many different body multipliers that gun has? Because I feel like there are times where people melt, and there are times where people shoot marshmallows. And on top of that, most people are running it with the default clip, 30 rounds. That shit gets exhausted real quick. Listen, and the rival is good, but I'm not a fan of these like shotgun spray subs. Like that thing shoots like fast as fuck. I feel like metas like that with submachine guns don't play well. I feel like you got to find that little medium of like rate of fire. I feel like the Striker 9, the not the one from the beta, like the faster
the
one,
faster fire rate one, yeah.
probably has like the best fire rate for like a like the best profile for a competitive SMG.
Have people tried that yet? Or no?
I think
haven't seen
people
a single
have. It's
person use
just
that shit yet.
it's got this like weird like visual recoil thing, which is why probably people don't use it. Also, this gun's iron sights are really good.
I love this gun's iron sights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sam, you be running around more with the sub than you do the
Yeah,
AR
it's
these
nice,
days.
dude. Hey, I'm retired now.
Now, the,
Time to do
the
what I want.
Rival 9 feels
No
nice. I'm not gonna
longer
lie.
with the big
Been-
AR.
yeah, that's
The
right.
Rival
Not
is
put down
definitely
by
good.
big
It's
sub.
good. It's just like, and again, this is a Beezy shooting this gun, so he's making it look easy. But
Yep.
just the way like the shots that he has to hit with it, you know, like he probably would have gotten all these kills with an ACR as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not.
He's
killing
also
quick now.
using,
Maybe that
like,
one sliding on
He's
close
also
by.
probably using high grain bullets and the longest barrel. So like this guy's stacking attachments that are literally meant to stretch its range out as much as possible, where like you're sacrificing a lot of mobility and stuff like that. So
Listen, here's
I don't
the
know.
other piece to it, Chris, and this happens in every game. People got to get used to certain gunfights that are going to happen multiple times a map. As the game goes on, to get more confidence, take those gunfights with subs. On top of that, if you've seen with a lot of games, like if you're a sub player like Abe, you're going to pick up an AR. If you can in the run of play and on certain rotations, you're going to have the AR out just to help out with sort of playing your life, playing kills. So
I agree with you, but these maps are not like new. They've been here forever. Me and Pat both played when this was competitive, and we can pretty much attest that these are AR heavy maps. Like I said,
Subs ran marathon lightweight.
Subs had marathon lightweight. They had double stuns and a grenade, or potentially a smoke. Like they had so many.
I don't think anyone ran a smoke.
Some people would in CTF to like dig the flag out of like people's spawns on like invasion, or some people would do that because otherwise you would need to clean wipe essentially to kind of get flags out sometimes back in the day, Pat.
We
So
didn't run any smokes.
Well, some people did.
Why,
Like, I
why
know
would you use a smoke when you had 2 stun grenades?
because you
Stuns were
still had
insane.
because
There
you
was no
still had
tac
to.
mask.
You're not listening, bro. Either way, I mean, like people could use it.
Fedora,
Is what
I
I'm
never,
saying. Some people did.
I never had to dig in any map
Bro,
control.
I remember
always
Circa.
had
I
map
remember
control,
Circa.
Sam.
They were trying to
was-
break you, Pat.
Circa was
Yeah.
throwing smokes
I
back
was,
in the day.
I was throwing stuns at him.
My point is,
Yeah, maybe in
people
the
had
beginning of the game, but
people
the
had
middle and the end, no one ran smokes.
people had many tools to break positioning. Multiple
Agreed.
nades, smoke, stuns. No trophy system either. Nowadays, we have 2 throwables, and the trophy blocks all of them.
This might be some dumb shit, but what if they tried? They would never probably do this, but what if they just ran one trophy and respawn and made tacticals just like far better than they are right now? Just like kind of like a World War II type thing, where World War II's hills were fucking unbreakable if there was a trophy system.
that would
And
still make like P2, P3 sub base like worse, wouldn't it?
Bro, you always
that's, I mean, yeah, but I mean that map's already dog shit regardless.
It's very-
Adding
we're
in an extra
expanding
couple
on the
nade
map
kills aren't
for
gonna
it,
make the
like-
map any worse. Like, let's be honest.
Bro,
with
I would almost say this game would. So certain hills might play better without a damn trophy system. You don't even
I think a
you
smoke
throw
would
nades.
help us a lot.
You throw nades and stuns so slow in this game, unless you use, I think, quick grip, which I don't, or quick grip gloves, I think,
Yeah.
potentially, which I don't think anyone even uses. Everyone's, I think, using marksman or assault gloves.
I
So,
saw
like,
MC using it today, so
listen,
I think people are trying it.
I sound like a broken record, and I know a lot of pros might be looking at this sideways or might just be so set in their ways, but I'm telling you, I think the play is to try to at least allow that. I even brought up an EMP. So there's like an EMP DDoS field upgrade, and some people aren't fans of it, some people are, but it's essentially like a miniature. It's literally like an EMP that pops from your body, like you just, and it recharges relatively quickly. So not only is it a proximity check, just how EMPs were back in BO2, but it's also good. It also destroys trophy systems. It saves that whole need of like, oh, where's the trophy system? Where is it? You just pop it, gets rid of them instantly.
Right.
It could potentially
What's the
help
range
speed
on
up
it,
the
Chris?
game.
What's the range on that? How far? What's the?
It's not far. It's not far. It's it pops from the person's body like a heat wave, but like it's not that far.
Huh.
I mean,
that
they
could
could
be
probably-
pretty cool to
If only
see.
they had this device called an EMP grenade.
Yeah.
That'd make everything a lot
Obviously-
easier for sure.
Obviously, yeah, they could add that in, then, but people, I think the reason people might not like it is because it does give you information. Like you pop it and it's like, oh, I tagged somebody around me, somebody's around me. But we have that in other games, so why are people so afraid of? I think it would help speed up the game, and it would help kind of negate some of that trophy spam. And again, another tool for people to kind of be more aggressive, which I think this is what this game is going to run into because of the campy playstyle of MW2 maps.
I think the smokes will help. I think it'll definitely help get the sub players pushed up on the map a little bit, smoke some of the crosses. Like it'll definitely be a positive direction, in my opinion. I don't know what the pros think about it because they've obviously probably have been trying it out.
The flank. Oh, my fault. I'll be back.
Oh, no.
Okay, son, we're on the flank, brother. What's wrong
What
with
happened?
On the flank, man. It's
I know,
about
I
time you
completely
made it to a
forgot.
flank, though. You make it to the flank when
He's been
you're
dodging
not
for a while,
supposed to
dude.
be
I was gonna
here.
ask if you guys want to play wagers. but
We'll
I
play
forgot.
wagers after the flank, K-Son. Dumbass.
When's it over? When's it over?
In about an hour. All right, I'll see you later.
Hey Sam, hey, can you tell ZooMaa was shooting shit last night?
Wait,
Was he
Kason actually
shooting?
had he had a world star 3-piece clutch.
Yeah, because
he was frying
I
last
told
night.
him to start playing with some aggression, bro.
frying-
This
he
guy
was
was
frying
playing
last
like a
night.
straight bitch in wagers, bro.
We played last night. He was frying.
Do you guys think, bro? I'll
Let's
be
go,
back.
K-Son. You're getting
Later,
better,
bro.
bro. I'll
Alright,
talk to you
man,
later, bro. Later,
Alright.
man. For those of you that don't know, K-Son is a co-owner of Atlanta FaZe. He's going to be a little bit more involved this year. We're also making a Challengers team this year. Don't have anything locked in yet, but there is a couple teams that we're looking at. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. But we are bringing back FaZe Black for
I think you're gonna
Challengers
see
this year.
K-Son a lot on the couch from Red Live events.
Yeah,
this
you'll
year. I
see
think
K-Son
that'll
on the
be-
couch with us too. He's going to
that'll
be kicking it with
potentially
us.
hilarious in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he likes to rage. He's a rager for sure. But he'll
I
be
think Tom,
cheering on Atlanta FaZe. Go ahead, Ben.
I think just going back to the smoke grenade thing, I haven't seen any pros in chat like speak towards why they haven't tried it yet. So I hope that like by us talking about it on this, there's some kind of dialogue on it, and people do start experimenting it like as soon as tomorrow because I think it would be
Yeah,
a worthwhile experiment.
I think it would help a lot personally.
Give it a
but-
shot, bro. Please.
And then going back to the subs, just one more thing. I think obviously if nobody's using subs, especially in pubs and stuff, I think eventually there will be a buff to subs. And we know
I
that.
just hope they buff the subs and not nerf the ARs.
Yeah, because then
Yeah.
they'll just cheese it out. You know, be a little weird.
Because I want the game is just innately better when people don't get pigeonholed into a gun that doesn't feel like shit because everything feels like shit, as opposed to there being a bunch of options and just being like content with whatever one you pick.
Yeah.
Like I
yeah.
hope that they'll just nerf everything into the ground.
I mean, to be fair though, they did buff the AR again.
It's just hip fire. We don't care about that. Small buff.
But yeah, one roster actually that we didn't talk about. I mean, we talked about them, I think, on the last show, but they did release an official announcement. Was the Vegas Legion? I don't know if we might have talked
They
to them a
didn't
little.
release anything.
Yeah,
bro.
they so
AI.
Open AI.
this
AI
is
deep fake
tragic, bro.
cheese.
Yeah, so
Oh my God.
obviously I was a little confused by this as well, but the AI pictures is kind of what they went with for their announcement. Not
Look
really
the one of
too.
Dylan. Click on the Dylan.
Yeah, the
picture.
Dylan-
This is really-
The Dylan
picture
one is
really gets
insane.
to the
Why
point
does he
of-
have earrings on?
Dude.
Like why? Dylan never wears earrings, especially those kind of earrings. It's just not Dylan. It's just not him.
They kind of fit him.
They kind of
But
do.
you
I
would-
mean, he
you
looks
would've
good,
thought
man.
If you're like Vegas, you're not like you generate
But
the
that
image,
don't
you're
even
gonna
look like
take a-
Nero.
Are you
Wait,
gonna,
Sandy said he didn't
take a
even know they
look
were
at it, like,
announcing.
before you post it. Like I don't understand. Like do they just generate the image? Yes, and, like, yeah,
He looks like a
He doesn't
Fortnite
even-
character.
Nah, it does look like a Fortnite character. I actually like
Bro,
this
what
image
the
is
hell?
Interesting.
What the
Nah, it's
fuck?
actually a W image. Just
Bro,
love it, though. And
Bro,
Dylan's
and I
fucking
don't
crazy.
know, bro, who the hell is that? This-
That's Purge.
That's Purge, but
is
that don't
that
look
guy?
like Purge. At least from the picture I initially saw of him, that
Per
don't.
what?
a
Per
little
who?
bit.
Per what? Per what?
Per who?
Persaged. That don't look like Purge, bro. What do you guys think about this Vegas roster? We got Purge, Attach, Nero Poison, and Standy. I've been watching them scrim a little bit. Somebody said Shotzi to Purge's picture.
That
That's
does look like
hilarious.
it.
This does a little look.
But what do you guys think? I mean, what do you guys think about the roster? They've been kind of just splitting maps and scrims. To be fair, I feel like a lot of people have been splitting maps. There's a couple teams that I think have been showing out above the rest. I would say FaZe has looked really good. Toronto's looked really good. Optic, we haven't seen them play. And same, I haven't seen much in New York either, so it's kind of hard to
In New
talk
York,
They
they
about.
started
them.
started
today.
today. so.
Yeah, I didn't
Optic
even
doesn't start for a little bit.
Yeah, I know AG Pred is having some visa issues, right? He had a.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure AG had to fly somewhere else, correct?
Yeah,
He's in
so
London
we
right
now, I
talked
think.
about it on stream. So, obviously he has to get a work visa. The way it works is you get your work visa paperwork in, then you got to do like an interview, and then at the end of the interview they say, "Cool, hand us your passport. We're gonna go ahead and put that
He'll be
visa
back
on
tomorrow.
your visa page, and that way you can get in the country." So the problem that he ran into is that in Australia when he was there, he couldn't get an appointment to go to the consulate. So they had to book an appointment in London. So he flew to London to get to the nearest appointment, and that was like I think 6 or 7 days ago, 6-7 business days ago, so last
Mhm.
week. And so yeah, he's been stuck in London for a bit, but it sounds like he's coming back either tomorrow or on Saturday. So I mean, Optic's gonna lose a week, but I don't think that's really too bad of a miss. But to get to your point about Vegas, I know we talked about this more on the show last week. It's not a bad roster. I think the biggest concern I think we all agreed was just their ability to kind of handle the leadership stuff and just the progression. And I'm a little bit concerned that once people all kind of catch up, that they're going to kind of be the ones not progressing as high and sort of fall off.
Mm-hmm. Pat, what do you think about this Vegas roster? You like it?
I mean,
Let me go to S&D, right, Pat?
Maybe, hopefully. I mean, I don't think they'll be like a terrible team. I just, again, it's the same thing. Like, I just don't think they'll have like the ability to break into the top 6. I don't think they'll be like bad. Like, we've had those teams in the CDL before where it's like, okay, these guys are just horrible, get them out. But, yeah, I don't
I
really
like the
know.
Purge pickup. That's my
I
input.
like the Purge pickup too. I like Purge.
I will say,
from what I've
though,
seen.
I know everyone was clowning on Vegas. I didn't mind the AI announcement.
I didn't
I'm-
either, to be honest. I think it's just hilarious though.
Like, I know it was like hire graphic design, but like for an org who is also like LAG running on a 3-person staff,
They're saving
maybe.
cash.
Like, yeah, like they're waiting for this CDL to dissolve. Like, chat GBT is free on a
These
trial.
guys got to
like,
be
you could've
closest
just
to even.
gone in.
Nah, they definitely are. They got the business model for sure, bro.
Yeah, Chris, do you like the team? I mean, again, I've been watching them, and I think this team's actually got potential, bro, to turn some heads. It depends how they play with each other and how their chemistry's like.
I think all from like a talent perspective, like all of them are definitely like they have a lot of potential. Obviously Stanny's been there before and Dylan has as well. Nero's kind of young, but I've seen him pop off a lot, and I think Purge is really good. I said it before. I know people are going to meme me, oh, good S&D, but like these are legitimately all good S&D players. Like not just like they have that potential. So I think at the very least they should be pretty good in that game mode.
Which could be big this year.
Respawn's anyone's game right now, bro. There's
Whoever has stronger mental.
Yeah, at least early, yeah.
It's mental warfare right
Hold
now.
on. I just want to go back to something. You guys really think that this AI art choice is
I
a
don't
good
care.
announcement?
I
At
don't
least if
care.
you
No,
make
I
it-
don't-
I don't care.
I
They
don't
could have
think
made a
it's good.
$2,000
At least make it
billion
good. This is
announcement
I don't,
video.
I don't
I
think
still
it's
wouldn't care.
good. I think it doesn't matter. It's an org who
I
is
still wouldn't have
waiting for
cared.
the CDL to dissolve,
Bro,
running
they put
on a
that- they put the
graveyard
AI
staff.
or
They
generated
clearly
image
don't-
of Dylan is terrible. At
Yeah.
least fucking try and
But I'm-
generate
but-
a good one.
Nah, the
You're
one
missing
off
my
color
point,
is
Ben.
tilting me
It's
though.
not about being good or bad.
Yeah,
it's
it
the
is.
fact that this org clearly just doesn't care. Like they're waiting to get out. Like it's so obvious. Like it was funny. Like I don't. Who
Yeah,
cares?
we'll see
That
how
they
far
just-
the
like,
CDL goes. I'm curious to
They
see
haven't.
after
They
the
haven't
CDL
tried
what
to
happens.
hire
Endurance, like,
anybody
Jesus
for
Christ.
4 years. Like we're expecting them to hire people to do an announcement in maybe the last year of the CDL. Like
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do from? Are they not gonna tweet out match graphics now? If they don't have a designer, like
The
Waiting for
AI,
ChatGPT.
bro. Yeah.
Vegas Legion versus Optic Texas.
Pain.
Sub-base
Like-
hard
Well,
point.
they basically got punked. I mean, Gersh is in our chat. I mean, there's an Atlanta FaZe tweet that went out like right after this. They basically punked like what that will look like. So
Did they even do
maybe,
match?
maybe they will.
Did they even do like match stuff last year?
They did, yeah.
They did.
I don't know if I follow them.
My bad.
I think we talked about the rosters. One thing we didn't talk about is control. I see some people typing about it in the chat. They want to get our opinions. I mean, based off what I've seen, I mean, I'm Control's
The depths
biggest
of hell.
hater. I am
Davy
the
Jones
number
locker
one
with
Control
this
hater,
year,
dude.
bro. It is ass.
Yeah.
Bro, before this game released, I said my biggest worry is hardpoint. I think S&D is going to be good, which I think a lot of people are under the impression S&D is pretty good. And I thought, Control, how are they going to fuck it up? Just put it where the demolition spawns are.
They fucked it up.
They fucked it up.
They fucked it bad.
Oh my god, sub base
The
control.
sub base shit is the funniest thing. Wait, Tom, do you have the Breaking Point article with all this shit or no?
bro. Just-
Nah, but if you want to
Oh
link it
my-
to me.
Ben, can you find it?
How
we
do
just
you
need to pull
fuck
the-
this up?
We just pulled the clip from fucking Abe's Twitch today.
It's so
where they
funny,
loaded into
dude.
the map,
Wait,
saw
Tom,
the
I had
point.
Tyler
Fuck,
loading
bro.
up rundown, Afghan, like sub base. I was trying to look at everything, dude. It was a clusterfuck.
Yeah, nah, it's,
Control. Okay,
You
just
you
so
were
that-
telling me, Sam, that they need to swap offense and defense.
bro. So sub base offense. So the points, chat for reference, are P1 and P2 on sub base are the points. Offense spawns on like the sub like side of the map, like outside
P3
by the
side.
docks.
Yeah.
And defense spawns through the tunnel on the bridge, like outside of the map.
That's
Like
crazy.
they have to break on defense. Off rip.
I don't know how they got these testing, bro. Like seriously, like I would love to know.
Unironically though, the map is viable if they flip them. Like
Yeah.
that's a legitimate conversation.
this
But the
point-
only
spawns.
that's what I'm saying. One of them, they're like where you
We don't
spawn on
know, 'cause
P2 and
they
P3 like
instantly
docks in the
ended
back
the
and shit.
game.
But I'm saying,
Once
if they were to
load
flip it, Sam, you think with the current spawns, you think it would be playable?
I think it would probably not because the map would be good, because the map would be better than all of the other shit. You're still comparing shit to shit.
Mm.
Like, let's be honest here. But the only like not terrible one that I've been watching is Invasion so far. Invasion doesn't like seem horrible. It's not like an outstanding map.
Yeah.
And then Karachi people are playing out of necessity, but again, the one of the points is on P1, just in the dead center of the fucking map, instead of putting it like on the street. I will say though, the spawns on Karachi, both on offense and defense, aren't abysmal. They're like the spawns that change after you cap certain points and like how you spawn with proximity to like the remaining point and things like that. It makes good sense from I was watching FaZe play today. So at least there's some form of logic there, but the actual point itself, I think it's A, is just dead center in the middle of the fucking map. So I mean, I don't know. The locations of the points are similar to where like hard point is right now.
They're gonna move
shit.
Next thing you know, they're gonna move a point to top 3, bro. That's the point.
Be better.
Yeah, so this is Karachi that we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, Karachi. How does Karachi play, Sam? Have you played this? I feel like Karachi could work. That middle A hill is a little fugazi, though. I feel like once you're in there,
A is the chalk. Like if offense hops on A, you pretty much just give it up because once A is capped, offense actually spawns like Coop at the bottom corner of the map, and then defense will spawn back alley like towards B, not where the arrow is on y'all's screen. He actually spawns in the alley like more towards B. So the map actually works at it like it's kind of like a clock how like you just kind of rotate around the map how control always works. But defense, just like how any other good control is, you push through B, you block like that close spawn. If you get the kill on offense, like on the B side of the map, you spawn right there, like at the bottom of the ladder to climb up into top red. So like it works in a fundamentally like sound spawn system for that map. Again, A is just a fucking dog shit place to put a control point.
Bring back demolition.
And you have invasion.
But there's only 2 viable maps right now.
I don't like where that 8 point is for invasion. Is that a good point? Is that like,
where else are you gonna put it is the problem.
Really struggling to cap it just because defense wants so close.
Where are you gonna put it?
Gas so quickly and like they have that cross.
What about
like,
in Diner?
You got to win all the trades and like be able to like kind of get a setup.
Or not Diner. What about Laundry or Mannequin, Laundry, whatever you want to call it?
I mean,
people call it Laundry.
2 steps on defense off spawn. That's just gonna like as soon as offense hops the point, they're gonna start tweaking because
they should have put it. Call me insane. They should have put it either in the cafe or on the street,
put it in the cafe as well,
or on the street in between cafe and Mannequin.
I think they should have
like in the middle of the street,
potentially
like
moved B back a little bit.
No, to the right. Like in that.
You're saying put B and P2, or you're saying like
no, like right.
P2?
Like in between cafe and Mannequin, like that little that little alley. Like make it pretty decently long. Give it some space. There's some decent cover there. You have the cover of like the buildings, and like the only line of sights that you would get are from the sides or the mannequin, which obviously gives defense the advantage, and then only the cafe right side windows, which doesn't really see the whole point. So I mean, that could be decent.
Yeah, the way that they're laid out on the map is a little interesting. Somebody said rundown in the chat. Like, why don't they play rundown control? I mean, I feel like rundown control would be terrible. Personally.
It's Arklov Peak, bro. There's just too much unused space.
Look at all this. Like, look at all these buildings and these crevices and these corners. Like, this just doesn't even seem playable, to be honest.
Also, the B point is in a 2x2 square.
Yeah. So. So a lot of the hard points are.
Skid Row is unviable. A is in the top of the P2 building.
And in Skid Row, they have the 8 point in.
No, that's a criminal placement.
Wait, what is this placement?
They have the 8 point in the P2. Like, bro, P2 is one of the hardest hills to break. Like,
I watched FaZe with Scrim at High Rise today, just again out of necessity. It didn't look great because you just spawn in your window over and over and over and over.
You get spawn trapped. But that's the same. That was the same thing that would happen in like demo.
Someone in chat said underpass. I think of the same problem with rundown you have with underpass. There's too much unused space on the map.
Yeah, I don't like this 8 point on Skid Row. I think that's just cheese. Like, there's no way the defensive team is losing that, bro. Especially
scroll down to sub-base.
Especially
scroll down sub-base. Yeah, let me see sub-base, bro. Scroll down, Tom. Go ahead.
Sub-base is right here, dude.
Go to sub-base, bro. Look where that's defense. Red is defense.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane.
I legitimately thought that Breaking Point made an error. I thought that their website was incorrect.
The only thing I can think of is they're like, well, we know that these points are impossible to cap. So what if we make a control map where defense? That's the point.
Impossible to hold.
But even A, like, why did they put A there?
A should be
in control, right?
No, but like, even if you're putting an objective on a map, why would you put it in the corner of an open area?
Assuming they flip it, right? So let's say hypothetically the attack is the defense. I would much rather have A in that like so right above it to the right in that like ramp. Like on that ramp, I feel like that would be a better placement than where it is now.
I feel like this would be the third map, even if it were to be flipped, regardless of the point location. Just again, out of necessity. Like it's just the control map pool this year is not good in its current state at all.
Let's play demo. Let's play demo.
What about 2 hard points, 3 S&Ds?
I'm down.
we get to the
Down
well,
two.
this gets to the debate that they were having last season. Is like, is everyone gonna be down for the 3 searches? I actually think
No.
in this game,
In this game potentially, because I think
Potentially.
S&D is actually going to be the best mode.
Yeah,
S&D
like,
rewards aggression.
Not
Like
close.
you actually have to like coordinate, hit a bomb site out. It's not so much about like variants of strategy, how it was in other games. It's more so about just execution, and I feel
Yeah.
like that's a good thing because it rewards teams that are coordinated
and
rather
B,
than like
B on
people
terminal
that
is in the plane.
Yes. If the point was underneath of the plane, I think they would play
it's
terminal.
actually really good. Yeah,
I think they would play terminal. Because I think if the point was like underneath of the plane and decently sizable, I think they would actually play the map. I
Yeah.
also, this might be fucking on Mars, but I actually think Afghan doesn't look bad either. But again, I might be just absolutely on Mars.
absolutely
Afghan was at the
on
top.
I might be fucking
Prime-
in another
prime
solar
part
system
for
on that,
Palm, yeah.
but Afghan doesn't seem horrible.
if
to
we
be
were playing
honest.
with pre-patch striker, we had put Afghan in for all the modes.
Not gonna lie,
And,
Afghan like
I
looks.
just
yeah,
hate the way
man.
Afghan looks. Yeah,
Nah, it looks like shit, but
you're in the middle of the desert. It's all dusty.
until
Age is so
MC
weird-
until
age is so
MC's like
weird,
stare
though.
glitching the fucking wing up top or something.
the only problem with this, Sam, is then like if that A is gonna be a chalk point. If the attacker's going A, you're not gonna go for it on defense. You're just gonna
Yeah.
cut them off middle. There's no point to slide across and throw your life away.
Yeah.
But the thing about like the main thing that determines if control is about, well, one is where the points are, but two is where the spawns are after you cap a point,
After you
because that's
cap,
what
yeah.
determines the chalk point. Is like if they cap A and they start to spawn like in the bunker, off or defense won't even defend it. They'll just let them
Yeah.
cap like gridlock.
Yeah.
So I mean that's like the two determining factors if these maps are viable or not. And
Mm.
fucking spoiler, they're not.
Well, here's the issue. One of the issues of control is like we've highlighted all these issues. I've seen only a couple of scrims prior to today playing control. It seemed like the scrims we saw, the pro scrims today, everybody was playing control. So it seems like they started playing it more. You're gonna have to do a lot of work to figure out the viability of this game mode because it's in a
Get
really
it out,
tricky
bro.
spot right now.
Karachi
and they
and,
wasted a couple
and
days on really
Invasion are the
trying
only two maps right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so we went over Hardpoint, went over Control, went over the maps, the meta, because right now it's looking like what 3R, 1 sub, 3AR, 1 sub at the moment.
Could be a potential 3-gun meta right now, which I'm hype about.
Yeah, we'll see
Depending
how
how
that
the
plays
balancing
out. I'm
goes.
curious to see how many MTZs people start pulling out too, because you might see maybe 2 and 2. Maybe we'll see. We talked about the map set spawns. One thing we didn't talk about was Gamebattles.com is no longer gonna be operative. Apparently, it's
07, bro.
It's
As of the beginning of January. Yeah.
07s.
yeah. It's,
I'm actually surprised it went on
bro.
this long.
R.I.P.
To be
Yeah.
honest, I really am.
So
I
Just
thought-
because of the the MLG selling to Activision, like that was obviously the dagger when that occurred, and obviously we know how that Fallout went. But I'm surprised they were able to maintain it this long.
Yeah,
Well,
somebody
I don't-
somebody
hold
says
on,
somebody
hold on,
should
hold on.
buy it, and Ben, I think that's where you should step in and.
Because I would say kind of, but then I remember that World War II had GBs integrated into it, so I don't know if that was baked in prior to merger or whatever. But yeah, once like there was more proliferation of tournament sites, they started to deprioritize the game panel. I assume premium stopped being like a really good revenue driver. This has been rumored now for like a couple of years that they were going to just kind of sunset game battles, and they finally pulled the trigger on it. I think this has massive reaching implications to Call of Duty League, specifically challengers, because challengers seen as the cups, the tournaments, the elite is kind of all run through the game battles team builder kind of ecosystem, and now it's gone. Like something else is going to have to replace it. Is that going to come quickly? Like when is the first cup going to be? Like a lot of questions for challengers, and unfortunately, like the most recent columns we have on it was a Call of Duty esports tweet that went out around the same time as the game battles announced that there's more info soon. So I feel for challengers players because right now there's not really a lot of information about how this is going to affect their ecosystem.
Challengers usually starts before the Pro League starts, and I don't think that's going to happen this year, or it's going to happen really close to either the first major or like when you guys start your guys, or when the Pro League starts their split. Also, for some reason, after going over that Vegas Legion announcement, I can't stop looking at Sam's cam and seeing it looks like a Vegas Legion announcement picture.
I see it a little bit. I do see the colors.
Because my saturation on my monitor is
There you
really
go.
high, so it makes the orange
Hold
look
on.
really bright.
Oh, I'll start glitching
Yeah,
again.
so this is where Gersh goes into an AI image generator, and we take this picture of Sam. And anyway,
But Ben, some people are talking about how they should sell game battles and maybe pawn it off to somebody else. You were telling me about how they're probably not going to do that because of email data and a whole bunch of stuff. Why don't you kind of get into that and tell everybody why they probably won't sell? Because you can explain that better than me.
there's a couple people that have been stunting on Twitter. I know FaZe tweeted about it. I know Exposed tweeted like, "I'll pay 500K. Here's my email." I think for Activision, one is like I don't think they'd want to sell all that user data to anyone, right? If they buy the platform, because it's valuable information they can use for marketing, like consumer outreach stuff. And
Mhm.
two is even though they've sunsetted like the intellectual property of the source code and like the back end of all that systems, like they don't want to let a competitor buy it and make their next like great tournament website. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's a multi-billion-dollar merged company now between Activision and Microsoft. Like, are they really going to be willing to sell it for a couple million? Like, I don't think so. They're just going to sunset it, take away those operational costs, and then it is what it is.
I
I'm just
remember when I
scared.
played
Sorry.
GBs in MW3 with radar on in an extended mags ACR, and I tried to go 100 and no.
Damn.
I got to like 5th on the ladder, and then I lost one time, and I deleted the team.
No
I'm
way.
just-
I would lose full.
I'm just scared because it's just like they're
Good
cutting.
times, man.
They're basically just terminating this website, and not only is that a lot of history for a lot of people in our scene, but like that was pretty much a staple for our scene for a very long time. And it's just like sad to see, and that they're basically just terminating it, but also like they're just downsizing everything when it comes to their esports branches and how they handle stuff. Like the first we heard of it was the Overwatch League. Now it's Gamebattles. Then it's all the esports teams are making cuts and blah 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 blah. The list goes on. Like I don't know, man. I don't know. People are saying like the league's gonna be done soon, and I don't know. It's scary times, man. Just to see stuff going under.
Yeah, I mean, the sad thing, Ben, you mentioned that maybe Face It could take over kind of that realm and maybe start
I'm
working.
trying to think of any other competing tournament site. Because here's the
They
issue,
don't
with it,
exist
right?
anymore.
Because people are saying like, well, what about like CMG, like about COD Agent? Well, the problem is, right? We think about Challengers Cups. Cup number 1, seeded by last year's pro points, right? How many people acquired pro points last year? If I take a rough guess, the number is probably like a 4-figure number, right? Probably low 4 figures, probably like closer to 1,000 or something like that. So that can't be a manual process, right? So something needs to like take in everybody's Activision ID, Balance IDs, whatever, Gamebattles IDs, and link that up with the pro points and see that first bracket. And then beyond that, we're talking for future cups, future elites, future open tournaments and events has to be able to maintain that list of pro points. So I don't know if any of these other platforms other than Face It, which does this for Halo, can like support that functionality now because it needs to be now. It's not something that can be there in 8 months. It's got to happen now. So that just seems like you and I were talking like our best educated guess on like who would actually do it.
Yeah. We'll see what ends up happening with that, but a sad day, man. I got a lot of golds on Gamebattles, a lot of memories, man. So it's just to see the website go.
I went back and looked. I had my first prize claim in 2009.
That's
Game
crazy.
Battles.
That's insane. How many golds
I
you guys
guarantee
slay?
you, I got $10,000 on Dwala in prize claims that I just never got.
Dwala, bro.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Well,
Go ahead, Ben.
we're talking about a lot of stuff that I think is unfortunate this team, but someone in chat brought up something that I actually didn't put on the topic list, Tom, and maybe we should talk about because I haven't heard anything a lot about it.
Yep.
Have you guys heard about like the Breaking Point, the BPL thing that starts, I think, on Friday?
What is it, a league?
Yeah, so basically, you guys know Easy Mac, obviously, and like Austin's been
Oh,
for a
shit.
while.
I was supposed to reply to his DM about this. I forgot.
It's all good. It's all good. So basically, for those that are fans of like Counter-Strike, and this is like going back to like 2013 or whatever, they have a system that's called like Rank S. And basically what it is like top level matchmaking, like pugs for pros, like top level amateur players and whatever. And it's been talked about forever, like doing something like that in COD. Like other games have done it through a Discord or whatever the fuck.
Kind of how like I think Nick Merckx did it in Apex last year, where basically just like you just join a server and like play matches for like an X amount of time.
Yeah.
Mm.
Tarek had that for something in Val, I think for a while. But anyway, I know Austin's been working on this for a long time, and they finally have got that going. So if you go to their website, they've announced. I think it starts on Friday. I think it runs Friday to the end of the month. And basically they've got a small player pool, and it not clear how people are going to be able to maybe qualify into, but it should kind of incentivize more competitions for the Money Eats level. Depends, they'll have like stat tracking on the website. They're going to stream some matches. So like, look, in an era where we're talking about a lot of destructive things that exist within the Call of Duty community, finally getting something like innovative and additive to an extent, like I think we should celebrate that type of endeavor and support it.
But that's just our community. That's just something that like everyone's. A lot of people in the community do great things. Tom, for example, obviously start with the flank. He does his subscriber rates and his whole stuff. Breaking Point does a lot of great stuff. Even Scump built his stream off the break. What is it called? The breakdown. So like that's more so like a community thing. Yeah, it's a great thing, but it's definitely not something that's stemming directly from, let's say, Activision. But still,
Hey,
great to
shit
see
stemming
Breaking
from
Point.
Activision.
Breaking Point, W.
Yep.
obviously.
Well,
I
we
would argue that Activision getting involved has been the downfall of this scene.
Might be.
That's we already did that episode, Pat. That's last week. That's last one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see.
we went to
That season finale was last week, old man.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we get some good changes moving forward with some different changes in command. But only time will tell that. But before we do head out of here, man, FaZe Clan actually partnered up with SteelSeries, and it is now available in Best Buy. You got the mouse. You got the mouse pad here, the QCK Heavy. You also got the keyboard as well. I'm actually, I just unboxed it. I just took it out because I'm about to plug it in and game with it. But you also got the Apex 9 Mini. And then, of course, you also got the headset. So if you guys are in Best Buy and you guys want to get some gear, man, go check out the FaZe Clan SteelSeries gear, man. This stuff is awesome, man. So if you guys want to go and cop that, go and cop it, man. But shout out to FaZe and shout out to SteelSeries, man. Again, without FaZe Clan, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the stuff that we do. I mean, I'm sure Ben can attest to that. Huge shout out to FaZe because they're always supporting the show and they're always supporting us. So huge shout out to them, man. It's been a pleasure being here.
I wonder if that Arctic Nova 7 wireless wouldn't have the same issue that my headset has on TeamSpeak, huh?
Maybe, Slay. You might need to go to the store and go cop one. It is available at Best
Yo,
Buy.
Ben,
Yeah.
you got shoes on right now?
I got my slippers next to me. Why?
Oh,
What
You got socks on?
Oh, no.
Nah.
He's never
That's a
got
miss.
socks on,
Chat,
Sam.
that's a miss.
Well,
All right,
I
Ben.
don't just walk around with just socks on. Bro.
That's
Put
a
us
fucking
out, Ben.
miss.
Put us out, bro.
That's a fucking miss, chat.
Angle your webcam and sync this pup, bro. Get your predictions going, Sam. We'll start
That's
with
a
you.
miss. That's a miss.
I'm going with I think he's sinking it tonight,
That's
personally.
a fucking miss.
Ben's been playing a lot of golf.
I played a decent amount of golf a couple weeks before because it's starting to be the end of the fall season. I've actually been playing good. But I don't know. I haven't been putting recently, so we'll see
That's
what
a
happens.
fucking miss.
Well, let's see what you got
happens
here, Ben. And lower your camera a little bit.
Hey, let me see them.
No,
dogs.
it's loaded enough. It's loaded enough. You just gotta fix it. Bro.
Oh,
Let me
it's
see
me.
the let me see the Jesus 12s Ben's got on.
Okay.
Well,
He said it's lowered enough. He said it's
You're
lowered
gonna
enough.
sit
This
back.
is
Like,
all
what do
he's
you want
giving
from
me,
me?
bro. This is all he's giving me. We can at least see the hole, okay? But we can't see if he's
that's
cheesing.
plenty. That's plenty, Tom. If we can see the hole, that's all I need.
As long as we can see the hole, but we can't see how far back he pulls the ball, which we know he likes to cheese and pull the ball back
Oh,
pretty
no,
far.
I got him on a miss. He can't cheese.
You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens here,
I don't
folks.
think
It's
I've
Benji
ever
Nassim.
seen him put it at the back.
He never does that, bro. He always cheats it, bro. He cheats the
Let's see
system.
this shit.
I putt from the same spot.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Look,
whatever.
it
Hit
doesn't
the
move.
paw. Hit
Look,
the
look,
paw.
he's stalling.
clean
He's
it, but it
stalling. It's a
doesn't
miss.
move.
He's stalling. It's a miss.
Hit it, bro. Hit it, bro.
He's stalling.
Let's-
It's a miss.
Ladies and gentlemen, Benji Nassim. Oh, here he
You hit a
goes.
7-foot
Put
putt
the
on golf
ball.
course. I think you would miss. most of it.
Put the ball.
Ben's wearing a T-shirt from the early 2000s with the
Benji
MTV logo
Nassim
on
stepping
it.
up to the
Shit.
plate, and he's looking to sink this one, ladies and gentlemen. He
And
misses
it's
the putt.
fucking-
It goes wide, and Sam was right. Man,
Doubters
what is
rejoice.
going on with Benji?
Doubters
He just
re-
cannot
07
sink these putts.
07 doubters rejoice. You're
No
welcome.
way.
You're
He's
welcome,
stepping up
chat.
for a second one, but it's already too late. I mean, finally, he's able to sink
welcome,
the putt.
chat.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
You're welcome, chat.
Listen.
Foolproof.
Show, and I don't sit here and hit practice putts, bro. It's my first putt of the day.
Unbelievable.
easy.
First putt
Doubters
of the day,
rejoice.
and he
You're
just
welcome for your channel
completely
points,
misses
chat.
it.
Listen, if I sat there and hit 10 practice putts, I
Ben's
guarantee
lost
you
his
I'm not
mojo,
missing
bro.
that shit.
He's
bro.
You're
lost
welcome for
his
your
mojo,
fucking
bro.
channel
I mean,
points,
do
chat.
I
I got in his
listen,
head.
are
He's
you-
nervous.
You want me to, before the show, make 10 practice putts?
You
Like,
might
is
have
what
to.
we're gonna
No.
do?
Hey, whatever you do on your free time, that's not up to us, bro.
I
You know what I'm
Chaz, like,
saying?
that's what I'm gonna have to do now. Like, hit 10 fucking practice putts while waiting for Pat to get in here. Like, I guess I might have to. You know?
Well, listen, man, that's gonna do it for us today, man. I think we covered everything. Next time you'll see us will probably be the tier list and the wheel spin, which will be on the 20th. So make sure to stay tuned for that. We got a big tournament on the 21st, so we got a lot coming up. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, go to anchor.fm/theflank. Check out all the audio sites that we're on, and go follow at The Flank on Twitter. Gersh doing a phenomenal job running socials per usual. So make sure to go follow at The Flank on Twitter. Take care, brush your hair, and we'll see you guys next time on another episode of The Flank, man. Take it easy.
Ben, you sailed that shit.
Yeah, you fucking asshole. Fuck
Yeah,
yourself, man.
I pulled.
Fuck it.